What's going on, guys? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment. Without any further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. So it is a little bit chilly, so I'm gonna try and make this as quick as possible. Just a little bit of an update. As you guys can kind of see, some of the seeds that we planted in the compost are starting to come out. This section has just been kind of a dead spot. It dries out too quick, so we'll be having to look into that, maybe more transplants. But like this section holds water relatively easy. You can see there's baby plants coming up everywhere. We also have our hibiscus, which I will take a second to explain some stuff to y'all on that. So hibiscus, this is a roselle hibiscus for those of you that have not seen this before. It is a photosensitive plant. What that means is that when the days get shorter, that's when it starts to flower. We want the flowers and the seeds off of it. So essentially once, I think it was like late, maybe early September, somewhere in September, that it really started to flower as the days got shorter. And I mean, it is just loaded with flowers. And when you're trying to harvest the flowers, I have a good example here. You can harvest them when they're young, but we want to harvest them, at least initially, when their seed pods are ready. And what that looks like is when it's on the plant, these calyxes, first they'll be kind of open, but then what they'll do is as it ages, they'll close here, and then the tips are going to curl. They'll either curl back or they'll curl in, but regardless, they will curl. And then as you look inside, you'll be able to start to see that pod cracking. Once that pod starts to dry on the actual plant itself, the seeds are going to be ready. This is very similar, and it's somewhat related to the okra plant, so it's going to be very similar to harvesting okra. And as you can see, the pod from inside is absolutely loaded with seeds. Our watermelons are probably going to be a fail this year, just because I don't think, since it is already getting chilly, that we're going to have time to harvest, so we will try again this next year. We did finally start to get some tomato production as it was cooling off. Although they'll probably stay green. This is one of the loofahs that we got going. Hopefully we'll be able to get some seeds off of that. And of course, as you can see, the okra still taking off, doing phenomenal. Loofah's covered with it. This is my son's little garden that he's got going. We've been saving soil for our trees this upcoming year, so I'll be interested to see how our trees do this next year. We're going to be trying to do some dwarf fruit salads. And then of course we've also compressed everything over here, getting it ready for winter, so all we got to do is cover it. The dragon fruit we've cut back and put down. We want a little bit thicker in here, so we're going to be trying to root those out. Rosemary's doing great. Peach doing phenomenal. And of course we have our pear and our asparagus here. And essentially what we did is we have our hardiest trees kind of coming through here, because the wind is going to kind of cut through here at an angle and go out that way. So we put our hardiest trees and stuff right in here. And then of course we have like our moringa here and our mulberry there to kind of block some of this other wind flow. And then we have some of our seeds that we're starting over here. Of course, our blueberries, our mint. So we have some of the hardier but smaller containers kind of here. And then that way they can kind of wrap around these more sensitive plants to the cold, such as the citrus, Vicks plant, things of that nature. And then we also have some of our citrus seeds that we started down there. So whenever this gets wrapped, and they're on a black mat, so what's going to happen is they'll get wrapped, which will keep the overall temperature warmer, especially in the center there. And then all of this black material will gain heat through the day and slowly disperse it at night, keeping that center a little bit more warm. We won't be covering the trees because the trees can handle the cold, but we will be covering the containers because we want to protect those root masses more than anything else. And that's pretty much it for now. The videos are probably going to slow down because it is the season where not much is going to be going on. At most, what we're probably going to have going on in the future is going to be our raised beds here. It's going to be converting over from the fall crop to the winter crop, which again, we have seeds everywhere. We got carrots and different lettuces and bok choy and Swiss chard, and we got some collard greens, onions, and things like that that we will be trying to grow through the winter. But that's pretty much it. We're going to be at a little bit of a standstill for the season. So as always, have a good day, be kind out there, and we will see y'all come spring.